Hello and welcome to the Fireside Chat. I'm Kalpana Singhal, Editor-in-Chief CXO TV, and today we have Rupinder Goel, consultant and advisor for Yotta Digital Consultants and Smart Head Consulting as our guest today. Rupinder is a global digital technology leader with over 25 plus years of global experience in IT and telecommunications for transformation of B2B and B2C. Rupinder is advisor to several companies. He was global CIO for Tata Communications Limited across all lines of business encompassing voice, network, growth, ventures, and all other allied lines of business. Rupinder's work area covers evolving companies' information technology and assets into a more flexible and creative digital platform that will greatly accelerate how we use IT as a competitive differentiator and revenue going forward. Rupinder served as CTIO of Libera based in UK, CIO for Bharti Airtel, transformation and international business in India and Africa, and United Technologies in Canada, UK, Singapore, and USA. Welcome, Rupinder. Of course, we will talk tech later, but first we want to know what fascinated you towards technology, how you started, and how's been your journey? I mean, how did you get to where you are today?
I started my career as an entomologist. So I have done my master's in entomology, which is the science of insects. So mainly looking at the biochemistry and the physiology of the plants and insects. And that's what I was working on. I did my research papers, submitted my small thesis. Then I found out academics are one way versus your personality and yourself could be very different. And I moved to Canada to continue my research. There I learned I'm a people-oriented person. And I'm very curious, innovative. I want to see everything to change, disruptive, out of the way. And in research and everything was a little bit of incremental and bit slow process and in the four walls of the lab. So that's where I moved myself, I changed my career. And that's where it really brought me my true myself of thinking out of the box, taking the technology and the processes and how to enable technology to do the betterment of the humankind. So that's how I changed and lived my life there. And did my second degree in computer science, then continued that life.
That's quite interesting, Rupinder. Okay, so what surprises you most about your work?
If we look back, how we started, where we are, and where we'll be tomorrow. Every day, it's a challenge. You have to think out of the box. You have to reinvent yourself. It's not the technology alone. It's not the business alone. It's not the new models alone. As your role, you need to be role model and reinvent, rethink, and reimagine yourself as well. So the role involves as a innovative, new technologies, disruptions coming up, new business models, but how to evolve and align yourself to it. That's where as we all say, for a right recipe, you need to have the right ingredients. And you being a technology leader or a business leader, you also need to have that mindset and reinvent yourself and rechange.
So according to you, what has been your greatest accomplishment?
I've lived and worked across the globe. I've been into all the continents, including Brazil, right from US, Canada, North America to the Southeast, and you name it. So greatest accomplishment, how to take the technology and enable the businesses to create the value. And when I sit back and feel very proud and happy, what we did several years ago still is being sustained in the business, still being used. So a lot of processes, a lot of solutions, a lot of automations, what we did, they're not 100% static as is, but the baselines or some solutions are still alive and they're working and helping the business solutions as community customers and product development or rest. So that gives you a very good confidence or a thought process. What you were thinking, what you are doing is sustainable and it's future-proof.
Right. Okay, post COVID-19, what are the specific change in technology trends you have witnessed among clients in India and globally?
There's a simple saying, if you look at the boardroom level or you do surveys or questions, who has brought the digital transformation to your business? So the simple questions are, is it the CEO? Is it the CIO? Is it the CMO? And the new choice has evolved. Is it the COVID-19? So COVID-19 has brought in a new way how the businesses, how the communities, how the people, how you're working in a silo versus a global environment. Could be yourself, could be your small business, could be your global business, could be a country specific, region specific, or across the boundaries. So the COVID has brought in a very new challenge. In the past, how the businesses changed, transformed, new product and services was very localized or very different. You already thought on your vertical or yourself, but today this is a global challenge as we are truly global economy. So some of the technology challenges overnight, how if you're a manufacturing plant, now you have to think very differently, how you will sustain and do that manufacturing logic. Or if your employees or people, which you never thought of, they will be working distantly and how they will collaborate among each other. There's always a challenge I've heard and learned in business. This is my IP. I won't let it go out of my brick and mortar or the physical walls. Now there's no choice. If you need to sustain, you need to do your work and to continue with COVID-19, you have to let it go. And you have to trust people and trust your business models. So evolve with technology. So it's a truly, I call it a physical or like digital. That's where digital and physical environment has come together to create a new model, and which is enabled by technology, integrating the processes in it, and really thinking out of the box or taking out of the bounds of the physical premises and addressing very different logic.
True, it's becoming digital. That's nice. All right, so COVID-19 pandemic has forced organizations to rethink their business processes, not only for business continuity, but also to be more relevant for their customers. What are the recent changes you have observed in the IT side of the business?
Let's a little bit look back. Everybody talks about digital transformation. That has been the talk in the industry. And I personally believe the COVID-19, one of the few major changes it has brought in. One is, it's a holistic approach. You cannot work on silos. You cannot do the digital transformation for your employees, for your customers, for your product, for your solutions, or eBay channels or a new marketplace. It's truly a holistic approach. You need to look at every angle of the business. Could it be your suppliers, partners, employees, product, marketing, service, solutions, how the things will happen, all the challenges. That's a very major thought process or a change with the new processes in the digital transformation. It's really everywhere. Do we need a digital strategy? That has been a thought process in the boardrooms. So that has become very imperative. Like, it's not digital strategy. Digital strategy is the given. Do you have in your businesses or places an electrical strategy? COVID-19 has brought in, it's no more strategy anymore, it's an execution. It's really making the rubber meet the road. COVID-19 has really changed lives and processes where we used to think, let's think about it like, all the business which are existing for decades or long, and they are very successful product marketing and solutions. And they always look at the lean startups. Digital has to be very lean. You need to be startup. Now you're learning, it's not like what you have, your product, services, processes, people. Those are also your competitive advantage, and you need to build on those. And it's not the digital transformation not related to your legacy IT. There's a thought process in the past. You take your IT infrastructure solutions and maybe your applications, what you have, and upgrade them to the latest and greatest versions and bring it up to the board. And that will be a digital transformation. Now businesses with this COVID-19, especially the boardroom level, they learned it. It's much more than that. It's truly the customer experience. You need to look at how your customer experience will change and how your employee experience will change, how your business partners or other governments or international business models or other people will interact and behave. So it's a truly holistic approach. And the customer experience, major change there. We all have done it. We have launched portals, we have launched e-commerce, and we take our physical product catalogs, product and services, and we digitize it and do availability of the customers as we all see online, and they can click and buy. And at the same time, if you look at that, even there were several channels. Customers still had access to those physical things or a 3D model or a mind or feel and touch when he or she goes to the stores. But today with this COVID-19, your customer experience, you really have to change digitally. The product catalog need to use the technologies like AR, VR, and digital twin and other models where one can feel and look in all the dimensions of the product. It's not only just a mere picture scanned image. So really digital transformation has brought in with COVID-19 new processes, new way of thinking, new customer experience, your new product and services. So truly all product in the digital should think about a service. If it can be a service, it can be delivered. So the product change it to service.
Rightly said that it's the digital transformation is all about strategy. And so how do you architect execution models for digital transformation across processes, people, technology, and change management?
One of the key things is the user experience. Why I'm not saying customer experience? Because every stakeholder need to have an experience. And if you want to go to digital, there's always a scare. There's always a inside competition. Like if I go this way, maybe I will cannibalize my own thing. My channel will change. So I think the mindset has to change. Number one, you need to understand and cannibalize your own success in certain areas. If you really want to go digital, have to be selective. Second one is very, very critical. Your brand presence on the social media or the digital way is very critical and very important. So it's really, really critical to have your brand present. So it's not truly that digital way or e-commerce way might not give you in that product or services a new revenue stream immediately, but to have your right time for your brand to be present. And today you can take your brand or your business models or your processes, products and services with only few clicks. It's not localized to the physical store or access of a region or an area. It can be global if you have the right strategy. And one more thing behind that strategy, sometimes I've seen it's a major challenge where we go digital, we take the right technology, we take the right tools, we redesign our processes, but we leave behind a service model behind it. If you're going into digital, your customers are impatient. They want the delivery and the services with the trust. So you need to redesign and rethink. You integrate your backend as well. That has to be done digitally as well. Could be your supply chain, your warehouses, your partners, suppliers, your inventory availability. Everything should be, it should be end to end. It should be done from cradle to grave. It should be managed for the life cycle of the customer, right from inception or thought process to the life cycle of the product or service or the customer, how to refill, how to reach. And it's not limited honestly to your product and services. You need to collaborate with your other type of products which could be affiliated, and you have to keep your eyes and open in that strategy. It's not your kind of business, your channels or the competitors, it could be anybody. Somebody who is baking something in the garage, he or she can wake up with the digital. The entries or barriers are broken. It's very easy to penetrate. So you need to collaborate and you need to be in the forefront of the thought process.
Okay, what is the business model followed by Smart Head Consulting in helping organizations with tech-anchored business transformations? And what are your roles and responsibilities in providing strategic advisory services for the digital transformation from Smart Head Consulting?
So we are a very niche players. We bring in like 35 plus experience, and which is a very wide, very different experience. So one of the things we bring in is working with the leadership right at the apex level. And as we all run businesses, when you're in those roles versus an advisory or consultant, somebody coming from outside with the fresh ideas and very different mindsets. So we get in routine, day-to-day affair, if I'm in finance, if I'm in HR, or like in that business organization, my KRAs or my thing. So we're very focused on vertical. So sometimes in a larger organizations, it becomes very tough. Everybody has a vertical role and organizations become silos. So one of the things we do is start that thought process or change process where we need to look at horizontal integration. It's not, we all have to do our roles. We all have a special subject matter expertise. We all have our departments, our things to do. But in the digital organization, in a digital transformation, as a digital thought process, in a digital mindset, one has to think beyond their own roles and the interdependence. So in Smart Head Consulting, we help the boardroom level. We help the people to actually change the thought process on the horizontal integration. So we talk about power of 1 and 0. Let me speak about power of 0. It may sound a little negative, but in digital world, if you want to go, As I've used another word in the past, like cannibalism, we say let's eliminate. We all have been doing certain roles in the processes, certain tasks, certain things. How can we eliminate? If you have 100 steps or 50 steps or 60 steps in some processing or office process, whatever you think about it, and if you eliminate, that will simplify and that will automatically reduce your work. So elimination is one. It's not that simply taking your processes which are happening today and make them digitally operational tomorrow. It will not solve your business problem. It will not make you digital transformation. So one of the key is to eliminate what is not required. You need to have one product, one service, one view, 100% integrated processes or technologies or solutions. You have to have innovation built in. There should be an everyday incremental innovation. As we all shop on digital sites or e-commerce, we all want to see new versions, new things, new changes coming up. And timing, we should not, sometimes organizations or enterprises bog down to the doing the right thing or resolving the right challenges. I think one has to have a divided approach where one has to think beyond it, and digital as the journey is going along and the backend integration and rest should be followed. But we can always launch with a 30, 60, 90 days and also do a version 1, version 2 and increment and learn and take those learnings back and use some of the tools like artificial intelligence, machine learnings and all, and incorporate that and improve our processes. So really innovate, integrate, and have one version of truth. That's what we do, helping small and medium businesses or large enterprises, providing our services. So it's very different. It's not doing the day-to-day job. It's not being focused with the KRAs. It's really strategically aligning the business to move and think out of the box to the next level and be very competitive in the marketplace than where they are today.
Yeah, so coming on that, my next question is about all that only. That what are the main challenges you think in digital transformation for large and mid-sized organizations?
There are some challenges which are common across. In the large organizations, it's change management is the biggest issue. Okay. So you can bring in technology, you can bring in tools, you can put new processes, you can bring the changes, but how to sustain and how to adopt it? I have seen you invest a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy, and across the board, there are posters on the wall, digital transformation, what it has brought to me, what not. And when you really go and see the life of the people, how they have been doing their job in the past or now, they still have kept somehow their old way of doing the work. So there's an Excel sheet running in parallel while you may have an online digitally integrated complete process where you have complete visibility. So I think the buy-in, the culture, the communication in the change management plays a very critical role, and knowing and breaking those silos, breaking those challenges, having the voice heard in. So change management, adopting to the new tools, new processes, new ways, new ideas, and implementing it is very critical. And I've seen in large organizations that really does not bring all the value which you need to have. So one of the biggest challenge in my mind for any transformation, any change is the change management. Large organizations, we have seen it, digital or transformation is a project, or I believe in it's not a project. It's not start and stop. In the older days, the technology refresh maybe 5 years, then it changed to 3 years, decades back, then to 2 years, then 1 year. Today is in days. So new technologies, new refresh, new changes, new things keep on coming. So I think you need to reinvent every day. You need to reinvent yourself. So it's a continuous process. So sometimes it's a large organizations, you go for a budget approval and a process and all, and you forget, tomorrow, 6 months after, 1 year after, by the time you finish this project, new competition, new products, new technologies, new way of working, efficient ways would have come. So you need to move forward the needle and has to work very differently. So that's one of the biggest mindset change. It's not a project. It's an ever-changing process where you transform and you change yourself as you go along. If you look at the small organizations, there's a mindset where they have how would I compete with the larger organizations? if I take these funds and invest in the digital processes to move forward, although their speed is better, if you look at their agility as compared to the larger organizations, is much better. Their adoption levels, because it's a smaller structure, easy to communicate and easy to manage. And sometimes those businesses are run by entrepreneurs, or ownership is not as federated as you see in the larger organizations. But the thing is, there's always a risk. There's always a failure factor. So the employees or the people, when they want to go that new route, new way, they're carrying a knife in their back, thinking if something goes wrong, what will happen to me? Should I take this risk or not? Or sometimes the quick results are expected ASAP. So if you're going live with this, if you're doing this implementation, if you're putting this new product, if you're doing the new JV, it's like, I want to see the profit tomorrow. That becomes tough. So one has to have a long-term vision. One has to have different values and very different thought process. For the transformation, it's not a one-day journey. It takes time, and it has to go stepwise. And you need to have an appetite for failure. It's not that everything will succeed. Then the risk-taking ability of the people or the culture of the organizations really becomes a challenge. We have helped some of the advised and some of the customers in the both sides, where they have a balanced scorecard in the larger enterprises. They have set KRAs, set processes, and they have done digital transformation, and they have moved to digital. Are we looking at the right KRAs, right tools, right measures? How many organizations are today, when they have got digital, are measuring the customer experience as a success factor for their ROI or the business model? We still look at hardcore ROI or the numbers or number of customers, drops or retained or followed or new additions. But really, are we looking at the customer experience? Are we looking at how the customer emotions or the social features or social connects, or how we got through that customer as a link is some new customers, how we retain them in terms of not because of the product, services, or giving discounts. It's more than that, as a total value creation. So that's very, very critical and the key. So I personally believe there should be a transformation into our success criteria of the business, how we measure. Our reports, yearly reports or the boardroom reports, do they reflect that digital transformation or the value creation or the new parameters which has brought the success to the company? It's difficult to attract some large partners who will be more happy or more aligned with the resources or the teams, like to work with the larger enterprises, because the dollar signs are bigger, because the deep pockets and commitment is longer. So the mid-size or small companies, it's a difficult because they're not sure if they will be able to afford or how much they will pay me or what I will get out of them. So have the right ingredients, and that's where I think the multi-skilling comes in part as a people development for the mid-sized companies.
So moving forward, how does a digital advisory services differentiate from a consultant, SIE, or an outsourced IT service provider?
Digital advisory services, it's an umbrella over all of these. So SIs have a defined role where they take a particular task to integrate a hardware, software, or the process, and like an ERP implementation or a digital process implementation, or very defined role. And if you look at the consultants, so SIs will work with technology partners where they will provide different solutions or services and integrate and take it to the next level as a project-based or a support-based or operation-based. And if you look at the consulting role, that's where they take as a existing processes, look at as is, to be, tomorrow, define and convert that strategy, that process as a consulting partner. They're bringing on board some of the vertical or your industry-based expertise. So if you're in manufacturing consultants will come in and they will look at how other people have done the job and what can be done at your end, and take your business goal, take your business objective, and take it convert to the executable model. Versus if you look at the advisory, you're really very different. You're not performing a role. You don't have a KRA. You're not a CIO. You're not a CMO. You're not a COO. You're horizontally integrated and looking at a 360-degree, so maybe 30,000 view of the business, and looking at your complete SI, your hardware, software, your business goals, your objectives, your consultants or your internal stakeholders, and come out with a direction or a vision where you should take, what you should do, what are the right things, and where we need to change our path, where we need to create the new path and work on those. So advisory is really putting it very different, like an eagle eye, and giving your working with the boardroom level senior people and aligning for the next steps of the business, not looking of the yesterday, not looking of the today. It's really for future. What else can be done and how we should do with the market and the place to move forward for the next level. And also it has two parts, like, it's also going to utilize what you have. It's not that something advisors will come in and they say, okay, shut down whatever you have and just think and redo everything, reset the clock and start my way. So it's really taking the synergies, is taking the values, taking the, what you have as your best competencies or solutions, but at the same time advising and taking it for future, for tomorrow, and aligning or rethinking instead of your day-to-day or your assigned role or job, very thinking out of the box and taking it to a different height and direction.
So how do you advise organizations, especially in post-COVID-19 and lockdown scenarios, about mobility, cloud, employee collaboration, and advanced analytics?
One of the challenges COVID has brought in, so there's not much physical contact. So by all these digital tools, as we are doing today, they really evolved and helping and change our culture. So it's no more 8 to 5. It could be anytime, anywhere. So you can sit and advise the person sitting in US or UK or India or global businesses without much boundaries. So that's a flexibility and a mindset change has really enabled, has really accelerated the processes. So if you look at the cloud and looking at digital tools, some of the tools are deja vu, but they are part of life. I believe majority of the organizations today, they run their infrastructure integrated together on the cloud. And it's no more a question, is there or not there? It's part of the thing. And secondly, when you advise, we advise the CIO roles. It should not be a typical CIO where you're looking at infrastructure, availability of the systems or IT. I think one has to move to the business part, where they have to put their self in the shoe of the business and work that way. And as we see cloud, social, looking at IoT, looking at M2M, AR, robotics, blockchain, and you name it, different technologies. So one of the things, it's not that everything is must to have and everything is just drop in the business for the namesake. So it really has to be studied. It really has to be looked at it. That's where the value creation is. There's certain processes, certain things you may not be able to move to the cloud as well. And especially in the COVID times, the technology such as digital twin, where the physical infrastructure, your physical machinery or the plants can be replicated digitally and can be seen or can be worked. One of the examples, Kalpana, we advised one of the outfits. Customers in the past, they're a global business and they're manufacturing some product and services. And these are more like contract manufacturing, and they have very controlled processes or very controlled contracts with their customers. And their customers used to fly or come from international locations, let's say Europe or USA, North America. And they used to test and look at and inspect how the machines are doing, how the process, how the products, and how they flow, and all those parameters. The digital twin today, and with the COVID-19, it's not feasible, it's not possible to have those. So business will come to a standstill. To overcome that, the technology rollout with the cloud, with the enablement of the digital tools, such as digital twin, has enabled those people to feel and to inspect and to look at those processes digitally and look at the gaps. And in spite of losing a lot of flying hours, a lot of money and involvement, and also having those incremental or digitally that data stored really help. And one of the major things they had is the traceability and trackability. some of the people and products, certain industries, the partners or the customers or the industry people themselves, they want you to have a traceability, trackability, right where the manufacturing or the raw materials came from, what they went through, how the product got integrated, different products came together, and that's the final product came in, how, where it went to, and who is really went in the hands of the people, and they use RFIDs or different solutions. The digital trackability and traceability has brought a new different scenario to it. Now, when that product, what we are doing from cradle to grave as a manufacturing cycle of the product. Now, when the product is sold digitally instead of stored, because you don't have physical access, the physical access the channels have changed. It's all digital. When a product is on an e-commerce site or website, doesn't matter your own or a third party or a marketplace, and somebody is clicking and following that particular design or a pattern or whatnot, with your digital data management or the marketing data management, that pattern, color, or process of the product attributes can follow that person to all the channels back and can bring in automatically. So let's take an example. If you went and chosen a pink shirt and certain print with certain kind of style, when you looked at it, that banner or that ad on one of the large e-commerce portals or any of the browsers, and if you click on it or look at it, so that marketing data can follow you as a customer right to the storefront and back in the warehouse and inventory, and go and fill back and know proactively, do we have that in stock, or how can be fulfilled, or how can be transferred, or it could be by an intermediary, or it could be by your stores. So that is, the data integration has changed. COVID-19 is really big. Data lakes have become the thing, and taking behavioral data, product data, manufacturing data. So it's end-to-end integration of the data has brought in true digital way, and using those clouds and making the silos, that has made a big digital shift, how we used to work in the past, using new technologies.
According to you, what are the attributes of a successful CIO?
I think when you have become a CIO, so you're technically advanced, or you know your digital, you need to know as an SME. So you're there already. So I think the successful CIO has to have a partnership really with the CEO.
Okay.
That's your key. It should be a CIO CEO partnership. Your presence in the boardroom. Technology is a deja vu. It's an attribute you already have. I think you have to put yourself in the business shoe, and you have to be a business person first. It's not that I need this much budget, I got this improvements, this operations or whatnot. It's really business outcome. How my stock value, how my stakeholder value, how my ROIs, how my long-term sustainability, how is my competitive advantage in the market, what product and what services it will help to move my business forward. Because some of the IT components have become a commodity. So in the old days, the CIO is responsible for buying laptop, desktops, or ordering the bandwidth, or having the servers or storage and looking at all those parameters. I think with cloud and new ways of working, with more collaborations and having the SaaS software and new technologies available to us, those are already there. And sometimes they may not be your competitive advantage. So now as a CIO, as an attribute, you really think about it, how to make your business as a competitive advantage using technology. So technology should be coming in your boardroom report, should be coming in your yearly report, where it should be seen as a competitive advantage to enable your business, must to have, differentiator, disruptive, and really a product and services and your people or a customer seeing that advantage from technology and a betterment, and not as enablement. CIO should not be an order taker. He should be leading by front. So really you have to think about how to enable the business, how to be in the business shoe, how to have the respect with the leadership, and constantly change and bring new solutions, new product, try it out, take the risk, and think out of the box. These are the key attributes for a CIO. It has to be agile, it has to really in the forefront, not as a back end looking at the servers or data centers or those things.
Nice, Rupinder. And our last question is, can you name a person who has a tremendous impact on you as a leader? Maybe someone who has been a mentor to you. And why and how did this person impact your life?
I have two children, my son and my daughter. So to me, they are my leaders who have taught me a lot. And they're my mentors. Why I say that? As we go in digital, the trust, the transparency, emotions, all those come in picture. And when I see these children, as they grow, they take the baby steps. Same way in digital, we take version 1, version 2, version 3. And we take risk, they take risk. Way they have taught me how trust, transparency, relationships, taking risks, taking baby steps, and how to move in life, and how to build the relationship. What should be your customer experience? What should be your product and service experience? What you put in, what you get. And it's a reverse mentoring. We're all at certain age and time. Y2K, or we say baby boomers. Now we will have a COVID generation. The kids or the people who are growing this culture or this thing, they may have not seen the physical contact, or they will be born with a habit or a culture to wear the mask all the time, or wash the hands more often, or use the sanitizers and whatnot. Same way, the logic there is a reverse mentoring. If you want to be in digital space, like myself, if you want to be in the digital field, and you want to develop the tools, solutions, and the processes, who you're developing for? Who is your true customer? Is your future? Is the teenager? Is the generation which are coming for? So I personally believe once you reverse mentor, look at what they want, how they use mobile, what kind of steroids they are on, how impatient they are, what the life cycle of the data. When I was young, we used to have photos, pictures, and storage, and we used to store that data for long. Today, the life cycle or the age of the data is, if you look at the teenagers, what they see, do they store? Look at Instagram or any of the media or social or the pictures, and they move on. Any digital channels, as a reverse mentoring, I learned, if they have an experience of a bad service from a site or outage, product and services, not the right color shown versus what they got delivered, I think we had more tolerable or more different way. But as these children, as a reverse mentoring, as a true digital world, they want to be very different. So if you want to succeed, if you want to do as a CIO or as a technologist or a digital, or myself as a role I play, I think reverse mentoring is very important. So for my children, I do my reverse mentoring where I learn from them. And when they were young to now, also two things major takeaways from them. Number one, simple, which is if a child can play with the solution on the mobile or website or anywhere you're making, without any teaching, without any manuals, without any learning, I think then everybody else will be able to use it as well. And secondly, continuously improve it. It's not a static, it's not done. Every day, every hour, you should think about it, how to innovate, how to do it better, incrementally, how to be disruptive, how to improve it. So as I said before as well, it's a journey. It's not a project. You start and stop. It's a continuous process you need to grow to. So they have been a great mentor to me.
Yeah, I absolutely buy your thoughts. And of course, children are the best example for change management for us to learn. That how fast they actually accept the changes. They don't need any learning, any kind of skilling or training for handling the gadgets, of course. And yeah, digital transformation is a journey. It's not a project, as you rightly said. And of course, there are different kind of companies, different set of people. You know, we term them as the stressor, we term them as the dabblers and the achievers. So of course, so being an achiever, it's more about working towards your goal and of course, learning from the mentors like you. So it was a complete pleasure interacting with you, Rupinder. Once again, thanks a lot.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.